Today is Sunday. It's June 9th, 2024. And it's about 10 minutes to 9 a.m. in the morning. And I want to hit y'all with this, right? Black people, mostly Democrat, and it wasn't always like that. Black people used to be Republicans back in the day. Well, civil rights legislation had been going on for several decades. We had the abolitionists, we had the anti-slavery movement, we had the Republicans abolish slavery, and then in the late 1960s and early 70s, all of a sudden black folks won't be Democrats now. Now, different people cite different reasons why, but most of the information they have is correct, so they really don't know why. But the answer to that is because Lyndon Johnson took credit for things that John Kennedy was supposed to have done, but John Kennedy took credit for things that Republicans was doing. John Kennedy was racist, and Lyndon Johnson was racist. Historical evidence is all over the place. Those Democrat efforts to participate in the civil rights movement came as a direct result of the progress that black people was always making, being Republicans, and with the assistance of white Americans who was Republicans, and Jewish people. Now, the Democrats, understanding that their political survival was wrapped up in the black vote, decided to change history, twist the facts, and take credit for the civil rights movement. Democrats was Jim Crow. Democrats was slavery. Some people know that. Most blacks don't. But the trigger is when you mention the fact that you might be a black Republican or a black conservative, the Democrats start cussing you out and calling you coons and Uncle Toms and all this foolishness, not understanding that they actually the coons and the Toms and the house niggas, and they still own the plantation. Because the plantation was owned by the Democrats. So they try to have this war of words, not knowing history. And if those who do, like I said, they choose to ignore history. And they throw all this name calling and stuff out there, and they don't even know why they're Democrats. They just are. Because some black person who didn't know nothing told them to be a Democrat. Now you got all black people running around here talking about they Democrats. Now, why is this important? Because if you notice, from slavery ending to Jim Crow laws and segregation ending to the Voting Rights Act, to the Civil Rights Act, and to all the things that Republicans did for black people to move ahead, even though Democrats trying to claim responsibility for the work that the Republicans put in, if you notice, there have been no major significant progress made. And since the Republicans freed the slaves and came with all the civil rights legislation. Now look at it. Now I'll explain to you why it hasn't been no significant change. Because the Democrats hijacked history, hijacked the civil rights movement, and haven't done anything for blacks. They never had any intention on doing anything for blacks. So when people cite Lyndon Johnson, they're not understanding he didn't have a choice except to do one thing, which was veto. But again, the civil rights movement was so powerful, it wasn't going to be stopped. So Democrats didn't have no choice but to jump on board. And again, since the 70s until now, there ain't been no major moves been made in civil rights since then. Now you have your one or two so-called black leaders, which I'm not gonna name. They get on the TV every now and then and hoop and holler, but they ain't done nothing. Every now and then, somebody colored to get up and run for president, but they ain't really done nothing. Even the one colored person that we had as a colored person was only partially colored, only partially black. I mean, let's just keep it real. So when the Democrats tell you that they've done things for the black people, you're supposed to say, what have you done? Reason why you ask them what have they done, because they're supposed to have a resume, right? But they ain't got no resume of doing nothing for no black folks. The Republicans is the ones with the resume, because the Republicans the ones that done things with the black folks. Done things for the black folks. So while y'all sitting around trying to provide information that's irrelevant and that's not factual, and while you trying to vote for Joe Biden, trying to vote for the Democrats, look around the country. What Joe Biden did in the last 3 years for black folks. And don't say, oh, he put Kamala Harris up there, because that ain't got nothing to do with the type of price of tea in China. He put Kamala Harris up there for one thing, to keep them black votes. But he ain't done nothing for black people as a whole. Well, you look at, oh, the Democrats, they put Barack Obama. Yeah, they put a half-black dude up there, but what did Barack Obama do for black people? So, when you get to China, insult black conservatives or insult black Republicans and do all this name calling, and when you try to call Republicans racist and talk about we don't love ourselves and all this, talking out the side of your neck, foolishness. I have to say this because election time coming up. And if you don't know who to vote for, what you're going to do is going to put another Democrat back in the White House and in your local elections, in the mayor's office, in the governor's office. And your life's still going to be raggedy, black man, black woman, black family. Your life's still going to be raggedy. So don't say, oh, I don't want to hear nothing about what no Republicans did no 50 years ago or no 100 years ago. They done more for black people than the Democrats have. How come it's okay for you to bring up slavery and racism, which is mostly in the past, but then when the Republicans bring up how much they did to fight against slavery and racism, then you say that's in the past? If you want to be a Democrat, just be a Democrat, but don't lie to me. Don't insult me. Don't insult my intelligence. And try to make it seem like I don't understand what's going on, because I do. Every major and significant move that black people have made in America has came with the aid and the assistance of the Republican Party. The MAGA movement have nothing to do with racism. It's about making America great again for all people. The lie about the Republicans being racist and that Democrats and the Republicans switch places, that ain't nothing but a lie. And that's why I'm voting Republican in 2024. That's why I'm voting for Donald Trump.